Hello, I'm Mrs. Mercer, Decatur Township District Reading Specialist, here to teach your Sunday Lesson 22, Day 3 for today. We're going to read the sounds of the letters that you see on the following slides. You want your child to do this rapidly. Make sure that you ask for the two sounds of all the vowels, the short and the long, and both sounds that we've already learned that Y makes. Okay, I'm having a little bit of trouble here. All right, we're going to do this rapidly. If your student makes an error, then you would say, this is the letter B, which says B, as in ball. So you would have them look at the letter, show the keyboard slide, and then trace. B, 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 3 times. Okay. We will go quickly. Feel free to pause the video at any time if your child needs more time to complete. The short and the long sound. 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 The most common sound and the sound that we say when we see this letter at the end of a short word. What sound does it make? The short and the long sound. Okay, so now we're to the spell sound section of our lesson. I'm going to say a sound, and then you're going to tell me what letter or letters create that sound. If you see an error, okay, say, I see, let's see, I wanted cl. Can you tell me what letter or letters make the cl sound? And hopefully they would say CL. If you don't have CL, cross it out and write CL for cl. Then write it cl. 2 more times for a total of 3 times for extra practice. Now that's just an example, so If your student makes an error, that is how you will want to do the error correction. So listen carefully. You will write these letters that make these sounds in this section of your student notebook. First one, fr. Second, cl. Gr. Qu. Or, eh, all, sp, sl. Okay. Now you're going to read these words, practicing some of the skills that we've learned in previous lessons. So take a moment and pause the video. Make sure you take your finger underneath each word, sounding it out, but in the end, saying it as a whole word. If your child or student makes an error, have them stop and say, let's trace. Make sure they see the word while they trace each letter, saying each sound, and then they finally blend. So let's say they missed shy. So they would go sh, I, shy. And they would do that 3 times while looking at the word correctly. Okay. So pause the video and give yourself a chance to read these words. Now we're going to review touch spelling. Remember, your writing instrument will be in your dominant hand, whatever hand you write with, and then you would touch spell. If you are right-handed, you would start with your pinky, following the left to right sequence of how we write words in our language. If you're left-handed, you'll start with your thumb. Okay, quick reminder. Now we're on to the spell words section of our paper. Now, this time I have been doing 2 rows of words, and we're just going to do 1 today. As we're starting to read more and do more in our lesson, sometimes I will just reduce the amount. So for today, we will only have 8 words. First word, you're going to repeat it after me. All the words you'll repeat, you'll touch spell, and then you will touch spell and write in this spell word section of your paper. Okay, first word, thick. Fall. You may pause the video at any time if you need more time. This is a sight word. You. Drug. Block. Them. Corn. Chin. Take a moment to look over your words to see if they're spelled correctly. Okay, now you can check over your words. Look at what you have written. Does it match the words in this column? If you made an error, cross it out and write the word correctly 3 times. Once you've written all the words correctly, read the words that you've just written out loud to someone. Okay, now we're to the spell words, phrases, and sentences section of our lesson. Okay, so I'm going to say a sentence. You're going to repeat the sentence. You're going to tap out the sentence, 1 word per finger, and then you're going to write the sentence. You will need to pause the video in order to give yourself time to write each sentence. First sentence. Remember, repeat, tap out the sentence, then write. Who is up in your tree? The next sentence. That black pig is thin. When you've given yourself enough time to write both sentences, make sure you do your editing, the caps editing. C, capitalization. Do you have all the words that need capitalization capitalized? A, accuracy. Do your sentences have the correct number of words that you tapped out? P, punctuation. Do you have the correct ending marks for your sentences? And finally, S, spelling. Are your words spelled correctly? Look over them right now and make any corrections that you need to make. Okay, so now I want you to take a look at these sentences. Do your sentences match these sentences? If not, make the corrections that you need to make right now. Once your sentences are corrected, read back what you have just written to someone at home. Okay? Now we're going to our new learning. Today we have sound card 35. Sound card 35 has 4 sounds on it, and that's why it seems like we've been on sound card 35 for a long time. It's ing, ang, ong, But we're just going to focus on 2 today, and our first one is ong. Can you say ong? Okay. Now I want you to trace ong, 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 ong. Okay? So trace it and say it at the same time. Okay? I have a keyword for it. This is a gong. Sometimes people bang on a gong. And so that's the keyword or the prompt, the visual prompt I want you to have for gong. Okay? Now I want you to write in the introduce new material section right here. I want you to write ong 3 times. Sorry about that. Okay. All right, now our next sound on sound card 35 is ung. Can you say ung? Okay, and I want you to trace U-N-G, ung, 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 3 times. Trace that on some sort of textured surface, the carpet, the ground, something. And the key word I've chosen for this is lung. Can you say lung? We breathe with our lungs. Okay, now I want you to write U-N-G, ung, 3 times in this little section here of our new material. Try not to write too big because we are going to write some words on these following lines. Okay. Now we're going to practice reading words that have the new sounds we've learned, ong and ung. So pause the video for a second, take your finger under each word and sound out the word, but come back and say the word as a whole word. Take a minute and pause the video so you have time to read these words. Okay, now we're to spelling. We're going to practice spelling using the sounds that we have just learned, ong and okay? I will say a word, you will repeat it, you will touch spell it, and then you will touch spell and write it. Now, because we know ONG says ong, you can just go tong, okay, when you touch spell. All right? So first word, song. Repeat it, touch spell, then touch spell and write, and do that for all the following words. Long. Tong. Feel free to pause to give yourself time to write the words down. Gong. Hung. Sung. Rung. Stung. And lung. Take a moment and check over your words to see if you've written them correctly. Fix any mistakes that you have now. Now we're going to check over our words. Do you have the following words written? If you don't, cross it out and write it correctly on your paper. When all the words are written correctly, take a moment and read the words that you have written back to someone at home. Now for the read aloud section of our lesson. Take a moment, pause the video, and read the passage. This is to be used when the ng, the ong words, ong sounds have been introduced. This will give you a chance to practice the things you've learned in the last 3 lessons. When you're finished, then you are done with your Sunday reading level 22 lesson day 3 for today. Thank you and have a great day.